Brand names like Coca-Cola, Starbucks, and McDonald's are known around the world, but surprisingly, they aren't among a new list of the most trusted brands by young adults. So what are brands doing to gain the loyalty and trust of young consumers? Kristi Piehl, the founder and CEO of Media Minefield, joins us tonight with some insight on this. Kristi, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me, Angela.
Yeah, I love hearing about popular brands and how do you still, maintain popularity. And this has got to be a really tough group, young consumers. I know you put a list together. Who's doing well?
It's so interesting. This is a group that maybe 15 years ago brands didn't care about because they didn't have money or they weren't even born. This is an age group between 13 and 36, our Generation Z millennial group, and we found that the top two brands that they both agree on, Nike and Hershey, but their favorite brand, Millennials, it's Amazon. They like that shopping experience. And for the younger generation, it's Oreos.
So keeping it simple.
Keep it simple.
Oreos.
And there are other brands, Little Debbie, Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, Minnesota's own Target, North Face. These are brands that are also found as trusted that this younger generation will be loyal to.
I didn't know they were still eating Little Debbie's. They're still very popular.
They sure are.
Loyal brand. So what does a brand do to try to build trust or some type of connection with young consumers?
You know, they really have to give the young consumers what they want. That means that some of these brands are talking about some of the things that the consumers are talking about, environmentalism, conservationism, some of those types of things. But it's important for these brands, they know how to communicate and what platforms to communicate on. They also know their message. So social media is a big play to reach this group of people.
So sort of staying in their day-to-day activities, sort of inserting themselves into...
Stay relevant.
Yeah.
Stay relevant. Even think about Oreos. You know, when we were kids, there was one kind of Oreo, then there was double stuff. Well, now our kids have access to a whole shelf of Oreos. So I can get what I'm looking for, and younger folks can have all of these different things, and they can go on YouTube and do an Oreo challenge, and it's still relevant. These brands, they're tried and true, but they also can innovate, and they can reach that new and up-and-coming shopper.
Now, I know it's possible any brand, regardless of how popular you are, you can have a crisis.
Yes.
So when you have a public crisis, what do you do? What can you do to sort of get back, regain that trust?
Media Minefield, we always have clients going through crisis. We say bad things can happen to good companies. And it's important that these brands, when they are in a crisis, that they're talking. A consumer is very forgiving, but they need a really good answer, and it needs to be believable. So even what we saw happen with Build-A-Bear recently, they lost a lot of trust with the consumer because not only did they not deliver on a promise to have this fantastic experience for kids and parents, but they disappointed them. And it's going to take them a long time to come back from that because they really did a disservice to their brand and their message.
Right, because they're going to remember all those hours standing in line.
The parents are going to remember the crying kids, and the kids are going to be disappointed.
Yeah, an emotional response. So any examples of someone who has handled a crisis well?
Sure. What's interesting is Facebook. They've come under fire for some time. And while a lot of folks, I would say that there are ways they could have maybe handled that better, but you know, they haven't lost users. And that really is a way to gauge how well a company handled a crisis. And so you have to hand it to Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. They went through that ongoing crisis, and they still kept their base.
They're still on top. All right. Kristi Piehl from Media Minefield, thank you so much for sharing your insight.
Thank you.